Hi YouTube family. Okay, so today I thought that I would do a quick video. I know that you guys are loving the daily videos, so I wanted to keep doing that today. The boys are still not feeling well, and so I'm not going to get a lot of progress done today, but I did want to address a couple things that were mentioned in the last couple of videos, and then I'm going to show you the progress on the tub here and kind of explain to you everything that's kind of happened with the tub and what I plan to do to finish up this project, because this is like the tub restoration that never ends. But boy, this reveal is going to be amazing when I get to the final stages of this tub. So this morning I went to go to the hardware store that I bought that tub kit from. So many of our viewers were like, oh my gosh, you need to return that and get your money back. I don't think I've ever returned something that I've actually used or opened ever. And so I was kind of struggling with like, should I return this or should I not? But I ultimately came to the realization that obviously the product was defective or just honestly such a bad product that it destroyed the tub. There was nothing, I read over the directions so many times thinking like, what could I possibly have done wrong? What could have been a factor like from my end that caused it to just drip and just leave the worst discoloration in the bottom of the tub? And ultimately I followed all the directions perfectly. I prepped it with the same brand kit. I used the same brand stripper that the image showed on the side of the box. I did absolutely everything correctly. I know because of how much prep that I put in that I was putting on the thinnest possible coats. I didn't overload the paint. My plan was even to go thinner than they were recommending and do as many coats as I needed to, waiting the drying time in between. No matter what I did, it was just dripping. And so I don't know if I had a defective kit or if the product is just not really that great. I have no idea, but I ultimately decided that the right thing for me to do and that I would feel fine with going in to return the boxes that I got for that. And took some of my money from buying that because I ultimately had to go buy a whole bunch of more materials to be able to fix the damage that that kit did and then get some stuff that would ultimately give me the end result I'm looking for my tub. I should have just trusted my gut and went with the marine paint in the beginning, but I wanted to buy an actual tub kit and be able to show for other people who wanted to do their tub to use an actual proper tub restoration kit. I thought that was the right way to be able to show the progress and the process that I was going to go through restoring my tub. And that ultimately didn't happen, but at least now I can say what did work for me, what not to do, what kit not to get, and then kind of show you how I fixed that problem. Perseverance definitely is paying off because right now, as of at the end of coat 1, it's now dried for about 18 hours. And I'm so happy with what it looks like. Even if it just stayed like this and I didn't put any more coats on, I could live with this. I couldn't live with what happened from the tub kit that I had already used. So I returned that this morning. The store just graciously took it back, and I wrote a little thing saying like why I was returning it so they could send it back to the company. And I was able to get my money back for that, which is obviously nice. And I'd already picked up what I needed to fix this. You saw me using the marine paint and extra sandpaper and all the things. So I think I'm kind of back to maybe spending about $100 in total to be able to restore the bathtub, maybe a little bit less. When I'm completely finished, I'll add it all up and then update you on how much did it actually cost me to restore this tub, being able to return that first kit that I bought, which wasn't cheap. It was just under a couple $100 for the prep kit and the actual kit itself to be able to do this. And then I'll update you on like how many packs of sandpaper did I actually go through and exactly what I needed to be able to get to the end result that I'm working towards for this tub. This tub itself, from the end of the first coat, is a really nice shiny finish, like a bathtub finish. And so I wasn't sure with the marine paint if it was going to be dull, if it was going to have that finished, porcelain kind of look in the end. And I'm really happy that now that it's dried and it's not tacky or anything at all. Again, I've waited about 18 hours. I resisted all temptations of painting this a second coat last night before bed. And I thought, no, okay, it's working out really good. Just slow and steady wins the race. Wait till tomorrow and put another coat on. So I'm now like midday through the second day and I'm going to put a second coat on the tub. I don't have one single drip. It is smooth. It is amazing. I'm so thrilled that I did it. So I think what I'm going to do before I do the second coat is a really quick, just one little, wipe over the whole tub with some really soft grit sandpaper and then put the second coat on. Just the same as I would do if I was painting a piece of furniture or something, in between coats, I would do a really light sanding, wash it down, and then do the second coat. I think that's going to give me the best results, but my goodness, it looks so good so far. I also haven't taken the time yet to sand the sides of the tub, and because this finish of this marine paint is so beautiful, I'm going to do it to the side of the tub as well, rather than the more matte look that I have on the sides. And then the icing on the cake will be getting to the point where I can sand the legs and make them my metallic gold to put and install on that gold faucet that I did. And so I think now I'm in the home stretch of this and I'm so excited. And I'm excited to get past the part of this bathroom renovation of working on just the tub. It's become the tub renovation, not a bathroom renovation. And I didn't expect that this tub would take me more than maybe a day, day and a half, which has now been like almost a 2-week project. So it just goes to show you that you might think you have plans while you're doing a renovation, but the renovations always have other plans. The other thing I wanted to talk about before I finish up some things on the tub today is we've had, I would say, hundreds of comments about where are our ducks. And so I thought that, well, I was kind of just doing a quick chatting video with you today, that I would address our duck situation, because as you have seen or not seen in our past several videos, when we show all of our animals all the time, we have not shown you our 3 amigos, our 3 drakes that we had. And I say had because we no longer have our 3 boy ducks. And there's a reason for that. So I thought that I would explain why we don't have them, ultimately why our decision was to rehome those ducks, and then no one else is wondering as to why. So we did wait a bit of time since we've rehomed the ducks to address this issue, because we were kind of like super sad that they were going. So it's not easy to have an animal that you really enjoy having on your homestead leave. But we ultimately know that it was the best decision. And sometimes when you're starting your small farm or homestead or whatever it is you're working on, you learn things along the way. And sometimes those lessons come with tough decisions, and that was one of the things that we had to do. So we have now had our 3 drakes go to a new home, a new farm where there are plenty of females for them to enjoy. And the reason for that is that our 3 boys were bullying all of the other ducks. You saw that we welcomed a couple of ducklings in the spring, which we got kind of from like a rescue situation. And those ducks didn't survive. And part of the reason why those ducks didn't survive was because even as they got big enough to go in with the full-size ducks, the big ducks, the boy ducks, were bullying these ducklings. And we tried separating them, and they ultimately were, at night, we would have to put the boys into one area and the little girls into another, or the other smaller drakes into another one. And it ultimately was just like not a good situation for either of them to have to be separated all the time when they want to be together, and they would end up figuring out how to find each other anyways. And in the daytime, they would bully them just the same. And so it was just not optimal situation for us to have separate homes for all of the ducks, just so that they could all maintain fine and not bully each other. And I'm not sure if you've ever seen, but male ducks can be extremely aggressive, right to the point of actually the death of other ducks. They're determined to mate, and they will do absolutely anything at all costs, in addition to hurting the females, but also they will kill off each other to get to be like the winner of the mating session in that time. And so we were having a really hard time with the male ducks, and ultimately we just didn't have enough females for them. There was another reason why we ultimately decided that, in addition to the problems that we were having with the ducks, is that we don't have an adequate water source. We don't have a pond here. We don't have a really easy way to be able to have, a water hole situation for them 24/7 in all seasons here. We were able to provide them with a pool in the spring and the summer, but obviously in the winter that gets a lot harder, and it was difficult to be able to give them basically everything that they need when we don't have outdoor water source, and we don't have, a long hose or a natural spring area for them to be in. So being able to give them exactly what they needed was becoming difficult, and we realized, keeping the chickens and turkeys, that the ducks were eating way more, 10 times or even more than chickens and turkeys were. And they were just eating and eating and eating and eating us out of house and home. And the feed for them is about $40 a bag. And for 3 ducks, we were going through that every couple days, just with how much, even if they were able to also get bugs and forage some of their own feed. And they would have eaten more if it was available to them. And we just felt like we weren't getting anything from the ducks other than the entertainment from the ducks, and so it just didn't make sense to be paying so much money for feed for ducks that, because they're 3 boys, obviously weren't providing us with eggs, and also were, taking up a lot of our time being able to kind of separate or move them here, move them there, and things like that. So ultimately it just didn't seem like it was fulfilling the end for us as well as for them in the long run. And so we made the decision to just look at really how much enjoyment are we getting out of keeping these boys. Yes, we really, really love them and we like having ducks, but there were a lot more cons to us of having ducks than there were pros at the point of when we were going to rehome them. And so the ducks are now happy. They're at another farm and they're with plenty of females. And I don't think that they'll be causing anybody any problem over there, because they ultimately can get everything that they need to be able to live happy lives over there. So we just decided that ducks just really weren't for us. Not to say that down the road maybe we wouldn't get ducks if we did have a homemade pond that we made, or we had a different living situation for them here. But right now, we just weren't able to facilitate a spot for 3 male ducks to be able to do everything that they wanted to do. So we no longer have the ducks. So I just thought that I would answer that question and explain why we don't have them anymore and why you haven't seen them. And we have lots of things that are coming in our homestead that I think will be really exciting and ultimately are going to be better for what we need to do. As we've mentioned before, at this point, because some of our things are not at the age where they're producing for us yet, we are kind of being like freeloader farm, but ultimately the goal is not just to be completely feeding animals that we don't have a use for in terms of production for something. The chickens, we love having the chickens. They're really easy to take care of. They don't cost too much to feed, and we get eggs from them. Turkeys, eventually we will end up having them as our breeders to lay eggs, to be able to incubate the eggs and have our own turkey poults so we can raise and have meat turkeys for our freezer. The same with the pigs. Eventually the pigs will have litters and we will be able to have some meat in our freezer. Again, not our breeders, but some of the litters, and we're ultimately having some things that will be sustainable for our family down the road. And then the horses, eventually we'll be riding the horses and we'll be having, some enjoyment for things like that as well. So to feed ducks that aren't really providing us with anything kind of defeats the purpose of what we're trying to do in the long run. But okay, I'm gonna get back to my tub here and put my second coat on, and then I'm gonna show you, well, before I put the second coat on, I wanna show you what it looks like after coat 1, because I think you're gonna be pretty impressed. Okay, first coat, dry for about 18 hours. It looks so good. So my only issue is that I still have some of these darker spots that are showing through, but that is totally to be expected when painting with white paint. And so after the second coat, I know this is gonna make a huge difference. But you can see it has a nice shine to it, or sheen to it. It's not like overly glossy, but it's definitely glossy enough for a bathtub. Things that I noticed was that the kit that I used, that was the tub and towel kit, the smell from the kit was so unbelievably strong that no matter what we did, even we put the window open and the fan going and everything, the actual smell from the paint went through the whole house. It was so smelly. And this green paint, I kind of read the warnings online about how much it smells. And to be honest, with the window open and the fan going, I didn't notice much smell at all. If the door was closed and I would leave the room and come in, I would smell it a little bit, but it didn't resonate through the whole house. So it was much more enjoyable to use. So my guess is that at the end, I'll end up with 3 coats of paint. And if I feel like I want to do a 4th, I might. But my thing is that I want to be able to leave that 24 hours in between dry times, or that 16, 18 hour dry time mark, because I think it will be much more durable in the end if I really don't rush it. And I just let the bathtub kind of tell me when I need to do the other coats. I think I'm going to get way better results that I didn't rush it than if I did. YouTube family, it looks like a brand new bathtub. I think 3 coats is gonna be the charm. Okay, I'm super impressed with the tub. Marine paint for the win. And I am so excited and so happy that the end result of this is gonna be exactly what I was hoping for. I'm gonna leave the fan going, the window open, and I'm gonna meet up with my tub again first thing tomorrow morning for that third coat. And then I think I get to reward myself by taking off those legs, and hopefully the weather's nice tomorrow and I can make them gold, and then my bathtub will be finished. Oh, such a relief. We did it, YouTube family. We did it.